We align with our divine primordial blueprint with guidance from the galactic Akashic records in all dimensions. All aspects of self are here now. All universal and celestial information and all important memories for our highest good and guidance are available to us now. We have access to all stellar wisdom of light now, delivered by the galactic Akashic record keepers in reverence for the well-being of all life. And so it is. We align with our divine primordial blueprint with guidance from the galactic Akashic records in all dimensions. All aspects of self are here now. All universal and celestial information and all important memories for our highest good and guidance are available to us now. We have access to all stellar wisdom of light now, delivered by the galactic Akashic record keepers in reverence for the well-being of all life. And so it is. Masters, teachers, and guides, please show us what we need to know. Okay, we're into the records.
Feels good?
Yeah, it does. Chills. Okay. So thank you all for coming to experience Cherie Doyen. Cherie, I got to meet, I think, 4 years ago at a co-creators convergence. And then we got to spend some time together last year again at our co-creators convergence in Sunrise Ranch. And her capability of shifting people from a loop, being stuck in a loop of a bad memory, basically, and stuck in that time loop is quite remarkable. During last year's co-creators convergence, we were in circle with a little less than 40 of us, and in the middle of the circle, Cherie shifted a gal totally out of pain, and we got to watch it. Then we did a co-creators convergence or call, and Elsie was there. And I don't know if Elsie wants to talk, if you're comfortable sharing what happened, but the process that Cherie uses is quick and painless. I mean, you don't have to relive your traumas over and over and over again. So, Elsie, do you want to share?
Yeah, sure. There was an emotional issue that I mentioned to Cherie and asked for help with my. It was an incident that had happened with my son, and what she allowed me to do and encouraged me to do was to find. I was having a difficult time emotionally coming away from it because it was a hurtful situation. I think the first thing that was the release for me was when Cherie said it wasn't fair. That's not fair. And it was as if there was a weight that was lifted. But what is remarkable is that the process that we experienced of finding that little girl that was inside me, that I went back. So everything that she asked me to do happened just seamlessly and effortlessly. It was just as if I just sort of went into that slipstream, as we've been saying lately, and ultimately into quantum energy, so that I could allow that hurt little girl inside and to go away and come back as the adult, you know. And all of that heaviness, by the way, Cherie, has never come back. Perfect. And it's been, and also I can visualize that experience that we had together and do it again. Hi, Sheila. And do it again, and visualize it very, very clearly, just like you said, so that I can revisit that and revisit her and revisit the fairies in the tree and the vortex.
You can use that for any other place you get stuck, because the cool thing is you did it, right? Like, yeah. You know, what I found in my journey was that the ability to disassociate is an action that has to happen to be able to astral travel, to be able to quantum jump, to be able to do anything, right? That is super cool out in the quantum. So we're already doing that in a reactionary mode, right? We just don't know we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we can start going, okay, well, you know, a flashback is nothing more than a quantum jump back. That's all it is, right? It's a quantum jump back, but then we get sucked into the child. Now, the cool thing with this process is we go back as the adult.
Right.
Right? And we get to see the discrepancy between the two programs, right? Because you intellectually know that your son didn't mean anything, but you were still stomping your foot going that it wasn't fair, right? So bringing those two programs together. Now, what's another super cool thing is that, right, when I started realizing that disassociation was a quantum action and a super cool ability, right, was when I was in an astral travel class and they brought me home, right? And I was actually in my body, probably for the first time. Now, when I was interested with the near-death experiences, right? At 6 months old, my father almost killed me for the first time, right? So I was just in and out of my body, just willy-nilly all the time, right? Now we know that our astral body, right, is the house for our soul, right? And there's been studies done, well, and I'll speak in a few minutes to the discrepancy in the number, but the study done that our astral body has weight. Well, if it has weight, then it has molecules. If it has molecules and you just brought a version of you back to this time in this astral body, you were literally bringing molecules back, right? So that we start feeling very whole, and we don't have to have that it's not fair experience anymore, right? Plus, we truly get our life force each time we do it, and we bring these molecules back, gets stronger and bigger, right? Because we're living in one timeline, right? When we're fractured like that, like you had two timelines running at the same time, right? And you're going, where am I supposed to be? Where am I supposed to be? Waffling back and forth. So what we did, you know, in the quantum is converge those two timelines, right? And bring the molecules back. So it's a multi-dimensional process, right? That you know, because we're molecularly, we're physically, you're not having the pain in your body. It's like all behaviorally, all at the same time, right? And
so, and very quickly, I just wanted you to know that I was much more comfortable with the follow-up, what I needed to do, and I will be seeing my son and my granddaughter for her birthday this week. Just a quick drive-by because of the pandemic, but there was no conflict, I mean, we've connected, we put hearts on our texts and that kind of stuff. So it was just, it was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Right? I feel that people, like especially children, when you know, those early years, it's like we get thrown out of our body. And then we look down and we go, well, that's yucky. So we encapsulate it, right? Which is a loop. We loop it out and we're like, all right, now I don't have to think about, that's compartmentalizing, right? In a real quantum way. I don't have to think about that because I'm getting up to have breakfast with these same people, right? Well, those loops get snagged all the time, as loops do, right? Because they want to be integrated back in as well. It's like a cyst in your body. What's interesting is I find very often that people that have had a lot of trauma have a lot of cysts in their bodies as well. Yeah.
Interesting. So Cherie, please share, because I did sort of a short introduction to you, and I've got another person on the call. Oops, there she is. This is Lexi. But anyway, if you could tell us, because you took the Deepak Chopra you know, you went deep into that, and could you share a little bit about that, please?
Yeah. I was in therapy for like 30 years, right? And I had so much trauma growing up that I just was just completely fragmented and fractured. My life force was very low. And I had a doctor tell me towards the end, he was like, "Hey, dude, like you're dying." And I can't even really tell you why, except that stress kills people every day. And he said, "Your body has had it." And I was like, "All right, I'm going to throw all these 11 prescriptions in the trash, and I've got to do something different." So I invested, and at the time it was like $5,000, all right? And I'm a newly divorced woman, and I'm like, I just have to do that. So I went and spent like a week with Deepak and studied with him for about 6 years. And I was very honored that he took a very personal interest in me. And I learned a lot, but I did hit a point where I was like, okay, I could teach what you're saying, but that's not changing. My life is not changing. Like, I'm still getting triggered. How do I fix that? Right? How do I fix this looping around backwards all the time? Right? That is just a very typical action for PTSD. No matter what moment you're in, you're connecting it back to something old and painful, right? You know, and you could have 10 people in the room, the ones that do it, you could guarantee that they've had a pile of stuff in their life, right? So I studied with him for a long time, and I was just like, I've got to figure out how to what action there is to truly break those loops. And then I started studying, I studied medical intuition, emotional intuition, the Akashic records. I studied time, energy work with the energetic matrix guy, Richard Bartlett, which fascinating because he kind of brought two worlds together, that medical world and the energy world. And then I just had to figure it out. That's when I was really taken into the quantum, which, you know, in that process with Deepak, I was really opened up to the idea of quantum energy, right? And that moment when science and spirit come together is when magic can be duplicatable, right? So as I started having these coming in for myself, and I started seeing children around people, which was interesting. And I was like, what is that? Right? All these different like ages of children around people. What is that? And I started realizing it was these fractures of ourselves, right, that have been split off during these traumatic moments and sealed off. Well, in seeing that, I started seeing how they could be integrated in. I actually literally had a woman during a process stand up and start spinning. And I watched the vortex start happening. And so we were able to actually create that over and over again for people to integrate those molecules back in. And so that's been my journey. Like, it came in for me, and then I started realizing, okay, well, I wonder if I can do that for other people, or if I can guide them to do that, right? Because that was the most powerful piece to me, is I was healers, doctors, like over and over again. And it just kept like being a constant thing that I had to keep fixing myself. And I'm like, what's going to actually fix me? So I don't have to think about it anymore, right? So I've worked with the human trafficking organizations, the shelters, vets, domestic violence, sexual trauma, across the board, just going, who's it not going to work on? Right? Who's it not going to work on? I just kept trying to find the bottom of the well. And the only thing I bumped up against, and I'm sure it was part of my lens, was hoarding. I wasn't able to affect hoarding that time. I only encountered it one time.
Well, Cherie also is, she sort of mentioned it in passing, but she is able to teach people. Not only does she have superpowers and can help you identify what you need to do right away, she also can teach us. So she has practitioner type classes where if you wanted to put this in your toolkit, you could also learn how to do this. So this isn't just Cherie's, Cherie wants her process to be used in, there's a hospital in Ohio that she's talking to about using it. The possibilities are endless because as you can see right now, we're all here. Most of the people on this call have some stress and some things to work on that they're aware of right now from this lockdown. But there's probably scripts that have been running since we were from 0 to 7 that we don't even know we have, that are just as easy as, because Elsie did that with Cherie on a call like this, and it took 15 minutes probably, maybe. So it's that profound work. I wanted to invite Nancy. Do you want to share a little bit about your first session? I'll unmute you. There we go. Okay.
I did a couple sessions with Cherie, and in the first one, I believe what she's saying about energy and quantum, and that things are in different timelines. I don't know how I understand this, I just do. And Cherie took me back to, it's not really a dream, but I could see this all the time, that when I was a child, I was sitting in a room with a teacher, and it was good. It was good. It was one of the very few things I could remember from 0 to 7 that was good. And apparently I left fragments of me there. And while Cherie took me there, something happened, and the scene was like swirling. I don't know how to say it, Cherie, but I remember I said to you,
Yeah.
it was like swirling, and I could see more like a vortex, like a black cloud, a tornado. That's a good way to say it. A tornado swirling, and there was yellow light on the outside. And Cherie started to say something to me, and I said, but it's all gone. It went poof. It just all went poof. And I can't go back to that spot again. I cannot, I mean, for years, it was one of the few things that I could focus in as a child. I had a very bad childhood, and obviously I blocked it all out. And not only did she take me back there, but it's apparently incorporated in me. I can't go back to it anymore.
You had a very calm
part of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the last one was pretty big too, because you were able to jump completely on your own.
Yeah, and I wanted her to hypnotize me to just make it all happen. And I did. I want it all over, And she said, no, you need to do it yourself. And it was I can't even describe to you what it felt like with the tornado swirling and the yellow light. The yellow light to me was the universe. That's what in my mind, that was the universe. And the black was the bad. Whatever it was, the universe was all around it. And it went poof. I'm sleeping better.
Yay.
Few days, and then we did the second call, and then I did one of your calls, and I started having nightmares, and Cherie said, well, you're putting it down. But I actually wasn't, Cherie. I was trying to do Don's thing of blowing it out. I don't know where I am at the moment, but I'm coming back. I want to get past all this. So, but I recommend this because I'm not an unbeliever. I've never had anything happen like that to me, where I knew I could feel that going on, the swirling and the light. I get goosebumps. I could feel it.
Well, and her immediate words were, because I was like walking her through it, and it happened so instantaneously that she was like, she's in me. She's in me, right? And
Yeah.
that's truly what the process is. That is molecules of you. So think about this. Like if you're in a haunted house and there's the same scenario happening at the same time every day, that's an imprint. That is a frozen loop that you're witnessing. That is not a haunting or a spirit, right? It's something happened that was big enough to freeze that moment in time. Well, what's frozen in there is frozen in there. So there are molecules of whoever that being was, be it you, right? Be it someone else frozen in there too. So that when we release that, we can integrate that back into your life force. That's most of the time people will go, oh, I feel fuller. Or sometimes I feel bigger. Or I feel taller. Some people will even go, my arms feel longer. You know what I mean? Because we're caught in those young versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
See, if we could feel taller, that would be good.
Well, I don't know. I know that I became conscious of the world of energy after I read a book by David Dawkins. And somehow your quantum or your subject of quantum is kind of messing around with my head. And I'm thinking I have to learn more about that. Because I believe in energy and I believe in you leave pieces, things that you touch stay there.
The thing about quantum means that there's an action, right? There is an action that creates that, right? Rather than something happening to us, right? I like the idea of believing that I created that action. And it was a really cool action to think I knew how to get out of my body, right? Some people can't do that, right? To say, okay, I can get out of my body. Huh?
A lot of people can't do that, Cherie. A
Right.
friend and I tried astral planing. I didn't make it, but I tried.
You did too. You did it twice with me. That's what you did.
That's true.
That's what you did. That's what I'm trying. That is my love, is to watch people understand that that is their magic. You did that. You kept wanting me to hypnotize you, and I was like, no, because you created it, so I know you can do it. And if you can do it, then you can take charge and not be creating the action over and over today. Right? And maybe you can start creating some magic out forward rather than backwards.
That's true.
Because we're always circling around backwards, right? Connecting what is happening this moment to an old idea, an old thought, an old energy, old words to put around it, right? And all of our magic goes boom, right? Rather than this.
I would like to say that's the hero's journey that I think we signed up for, is to go through, because we signed up as a soul to have those experiences, but Cherie has a process that can help you go to the next level so you can release those storylines that you've got and embody more of your soul now. And that's what this gift is. It's quite remarkable and fast and painless. You don't have to go and do talk therapy and dredge up your story for years and years and years and not get anywhere. This is within, as you can see with Nancy and with Elsie, it's quite fast and it's permanent. It's permanent.
Well, and it's a new way of being. Like I have a client right now that, is a therapist, and that was the way that's her words. It's a completely new way of being, a new way of thinking, right? So we're operating on all levels when I work really closely with someone, right? We're working behaviorally, we're working emotionally, mentally, physically, right? And spiritually, because, that child often that's trapped there, that's had a lot of stuff, is pretty mad at God too, right? Very often, right? So bringing those two stories together and reuniting the molecules, right? Folding time back in, we can start going up rather than out. So a lot of us live out.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much for sharing. So Cherie, the next thing
You're welcome. You're welcome. But I would highly recommend that. I felt so much better after that first call. I truly did.
Thank you, Nance. Thank you. I'm so proud of you. I really am. Really. Okay, so what I had thought maybe we could do next would be a group experience. And then after that, do some one-on-ones if you're cool with that, Cherie. Does that sound good?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so can I do anything to help, or should I just?
No, I'm just gonna, one of the first things that really hit me when I was going through my experience was being in my psychiatrist's office for the last time, and he looked at me and he said, here's what I need to say to you. He said, you're not in there. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not in here? He goes, you're not in there. And I was like, well, if I'm not in here, where am I? He said, I don't know. And I don't know how to help you. Right? And years of, different healers, different modalities trying to put me in my body, right? But they were always trying to put me in my body. So what I'd like to do is teach you how to put yourself in your body, right? Now, this is different than being grounded, right? It is very different. I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience. I remember one time, I was probably in my 20s, I was taking a nap. My kids were little. One of them ran in. I got up to deal with her and walked right through her. I look back and my body's laying there, right? That's happened to me numerous times in my life, right? Getting up to answer the door while I was meditating and realizing that my body was there, right? So we can separate that drastically. And if we're in trauma, we do that, man. We are completely out and our body's just operating over there, right? So I was in an astral travel class, and I think it was the first time I realized that most people didn't see the whole room at the same time, or that most people couldn't see the back of their heads or the top of their heads or their faces, right? And but here's the thing, growing up, I had to be able to peek into the next room to see what was going on. We were doing that. So as we move into adulthood, we just don't know. Like, we don't know that other people don't do that, right? We don't know that, we're not going to be quite so tired if we're actually not trying to operate our body from over there, right? So what I'd like you guys to do is just close your eyes. And first off, I'd like for you guys to just think about that. Like, am I in my body right now, and have an answer, right? Just first thought, am I in my body? And let's just put that thought aside for a minute. And first, I'd like for you to start at your head, work your way down your body, and just kind of create some mental notes about what you feel like right now. Like, can you feel your feet? Can you find your pulse in your feet? Like, do you feel cold? Do you feel warm? Do you feel full? Do you feel empty? Right? Just some distinctions. Okay. You feel complete? Yes. Now I'd like for you to make a mental note of your perspective of the room right now. Can you see the whole room? Can you see yourself in the room? Or are you just looking at the back of your eyelids? Like, just a mental note, right? I'd like for you to bring your awareness to the ceiling right above the top of your head. Now we're going to drop down right through the crown of your head, and we're going to rest in your corpus callosum. And the corpus callosum is that passageway between the two sides of your brain, right? I want you to be like a level, and I want you to be that little bubble in the level. And we're going to let that bubble find its balance. And we're going to draw that energy behind your eyes back into the corpus callosum as well. I want you to notice what that feels like, because right now we have your third eye and your left and right brain all connected at the same time. Now we're going to allow that energy to drop down, and we're going to fill up your chest. And just kind of like you're sliding into your clothes, right? I want it to feel like that. Like, you know, you're filling up your chest, your arms, your fingers. I want you to bring your awareness to your hands. And I'd like for you to find the pulse in the middle finger of each hand. And when that feels complete, we're going to drop down. We're going to fill up your belly. Your thighs. Your calves. All the way to the bottoms of your feet. I want you to bring your awareness to the big toe of your right foot and find your pulse there. If you can't find your pulse, locate at least movement, right? We want to feel you, literally. We're going to bring your awareness over to your left big toe. Find your pulse there. Welcome home. And I'd like for you to start at the top of your head and just like kind of scan down. Just taking note of what feels different, no matter how slight. We tend to always focus on sameness, so we're really looking for whatever feels different. Whenever you feel complete, you can just open your eyes. Now, what's interesting is when you take an astral travel class, they usually guide us to always do that with a partner, because to make sure that we actually remember to come home, right? Well, we didn't come with a guidebook, right? And I think, 80% of my time with people is saying, are you in your body? Like, especially in the morning, we've traveled all night, right? Especially us travelers, like we're traveling all night. So making sure that you're really in your body, that feeling of being groggy through the day and confused and empty-headed, often it's because we're not present. We're not really in alignment with our physical body, right?
Perfect. Does anybody want to share any experience right now? Just raise your hand and I can unmute you. Anybody? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I unmuted you. Or
Thank you, first and foremost.
Awesome.
It's fascinating because I really felt I was grounded, but I sure as hell wasn't grounded.
It's a different thing, right?
It's a completely different feeling. And what I can share, which I don't even, I'm just being with it rather than trying to figure it out, because I have a fascinating mind when it comes to understanding completely.
Me too.
But it doesn't feel relevant right in this moment. And what I noticed was I felt I was heavy when I thought I was grounded, but I felt lighter as I was complete. And that doesn't make sense to me, but it feels wonderful.
Let me say this. If you were going to have this car and you're standing beside of it trying to drive it, you're going to feel that anxious, intense heaviness of the job of that.
Yep.
You're trying to operate your body while it's over there. It's going to feel.
Absolutely. It's very clear to me. Very clear to me what. So thank you.
Yes, and please, like, it's an exercise for us. It's not a one-time shot. Like, I was all day yesterday. It was probably half the day before I was like, you're not in your body.
Mm-hmm.
All I wanted to do was lay around. I was tired. I didn't feel creative. I didn't have any want to do it all.
that's Kathy's house.
My wind chimes.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
I hope it's not annoying with your recording.
No,
Okay.
Oh, where's that music coming from?
The angels.
It's magic. You know,
Great.
may I ask you a question? Because I really lit when you said to have a partner when you have an astral experience. I had a very deep meditation years ago, very deep, where my body was completely paralyzed. I was not there. And nobody in the meditation group knew how to help me come back. And it was a very frightening experience for me. And the only thing, I did it myself because there was no one else for me to rely on. And I know I have that ease to do it, but it feels really uncomfortable. So I don't know if I went out or if I actually came in the moment. I don't know yet, but it led me, no, not now, but this previously.
Yeah, I'm watching it. No, you went out. You went really far out.
I was really far out.
And that, and completely, like a molecularly, like that's more of
out.
a quantum jump than it is like astral travel even.
Okay, well that's a confirmation for me.
Yeah, that was like me being on that couch and just like we're in a different dimension almost,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, and I've had that experience because Deepak Chopra was trying to teach me how to astral travel. And one night I was just sitting there and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, right? And I went into that and I landed on the stage where he was speaking. And he in his astral body goes, you know, and ran over and gave me this big hug, right? And, you know, and I was like, interesting that I could feel him, right? So through my process of study and learning and trying to heal myself, these pieces were coming together. And I was like, you know, and the layering, what I can say is people who have these loops are very magical people, right? Very, very magical people. People with PTSD. I haven't worked with one person, and maybe they haven't had any sort of interaction with the spiritual world the way we see it, right? None. And if I walked in and go, do you loop? And they're like, yeah, right? Or they're like, do you time travel? Well, yeah. You know what I mean? They know they're doing it, right? It's us really magical people that have the problem of getting over it because of these quantum actions, right? So all my study with him and with everybody was just like connecting these dots of like, oh, that's what I'm doing. Well, if you can recognize you're doing it, then you can recognize when you're doing it, and then you can recognize not to do it unless you want to. And life turns from being a reaction to action, pinball to chess. Like seriously, it is a game changer when you can start realizing that all these little fires around you, you're creating them with your magic, right? Because your magic is running on its own.
Oh, I love it.
You know, it's running on its own. So,
Yeah.
you know, a few years ago, I started realizing like all the Netflix superheroes all have PTSD. Every one of them. And they're just saying it out front, right? Well, if I'm 6 months old and I have this out-of-body experience, which I remembered completely, out-of-body experience, and I knew I could do that. Well, I didn't stop there. I was only 6 months old and I was already getting out of my body. Like, I'm going to go exploring or something if that's happening. I'm not going to just lay there or watch it, right? You know, and I don't think we give ourselves credit because we've been so stuck in this mental illness. Well, what I want to say is mental illness, like high sensitivity, empaths, we all suffer. All we do is suffer. We suffer saying I'm an empath. Well, you can't have PTSD and not be an empath. Seriously.
Oh,
like
yeah.
It's all the same. It's all the same.
Yep.
It's just a different lens that we're looking at it through. You know, I'm working with one young man that has schizophrenia right now. I'm like, no, you don't, dude. Like, you are just like seeing dimensions like move around, right? He had done a lot of psychedelic drugs. So you've got this, like, say you had a computer, right? It's a 1979 computer, and you're trying to download 2020 or 30 programs on that. It's either going to crash or it's going to reject it. Right? So through this process of us upgrading his hardware, right, these experiences are moving from horrifying to spiritual. Right? Because he's understanding what he's seeing, number one, right? He's understanding that that's a superpower, that you're seeing multi-dimensions at one time, right? But he's been living in a hole because of this, you know, difference between his hardware and the information. Right?
Yeah. Thank you for the confirmation of that.
Wow.
I truly thank you for it, because in having that experience, I went down the rabbit hole of understanding near-death experience because I didn't know what I experienced.
You experienced out of body, though.
It was so profound. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
It was a total game changer for me.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you for sharing.
Perfect. Okay, so do you want to start? Can I start calling on some people?
Yes, if they're interested.
Okay, yeah. Oh no, I'm sure there's no one interested here. Ha ha ha. So I was trying to get Trina, who was on. Trina, let me see if I can get her. I can't even get her. Hey Larry, can you get?
And
Oh, there you are. Okay.
I had muted myself.
Ah, that's why I couldn't unmute you.
Yeah.
So Cherie, I was hoping that you could check in with Trina.
Yeah.
Okay. So Trina, do you want to explain?
Yeah. Tell me what you're bumping up against.
It's kind of interesting because most people, when they talk to me, they look at me and they go, oh, you're so outgoing, or oh, you're such a leader, or whatever. But this has been something I've been climbing out of for years, because by the time I was 12, I had completely shut myself down, like so petrified of people, just frozen. I've gotten to a place where I've moved over years doing different things. I've done all kinds of work. I've done astral travel and different things like that. And most of the time I'm pretty in my body. But what's been happening recently is I'm a co-host on a show called Quantum Leap Book Club. And we're doing this book called Code to Joy. And Lambo or something like that. And so they use a lot of different techniques, but part of it is connecting in with old memories or seeing what comes up, meditating, seeing what comes up. And the other part of it was, you know, and this is kind of the beginning of the process, is noticing what sort of statements bring up things, or, you know, and as I'm reading the book, all of a sudden these floods of emotion would come up and out of nowhere. And in the meantime, while this is going on, all of a sudden these memories, like stuff showing up in dreams, even family members volunteering things to me that I didn't really remember until they started bringing them up. And for the most part, I had like this kind of I don't know if you want to call it Ozzie and Harriet, or it was just like really calm upbringing, but lots of kids, and I was the oldest. And I always remembered myself saying things like, well, my parents never showed up for anything I did, or I remember thinking things like, oh, I wasn't really that important, or people they don't pay attention, or things. But those are the kind of things that were showing up. And lately the memories that are coming really were times when my parents didn't show up, and I didn't even remember them. So there's this really deep hidden something that I can't even necessarily put a name to, but it's definitely flooding out right now. So Kathy was like, you need to be on here because she can probably pull it right out of you. And you don't have to think about it, worry about it, or anything. So I was like, okay, I'm coming.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, you know, part of what you're seeing is that discrepancy that we spoke to a while ago of like the little kids' idea of life and the grown-ups' idea of life, right? So I had a very calm Ozzie and Harriet, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, she's going, but wait, right?
Yeah.
And this age 12, what happened when you were 12?
You know, I don't know. I know I was really gregarious and outgoing when I was younger. And by the time I was 12, I was shut down.
Okay, so
have any memories of...
Close your eyes for me, and I'm just going to ask you some questions. And just kind of the first thing that comes in your mind, right?
Okay.
You know? So, age 12, do you know where you were living?
Yes.
Okay, was it the same house you'd always lived in?
From the time I was 8, before that, no.
Okay, so you'd been in the house for about 3 years.
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay. And did you have any siblings?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Did your parents get along?
Yes.
How many kids were there at that time?
At that time, there were 4 of us with 1 on the way.
Okay. Did your mother work?
No.
Okay. Can you see the house clearly right now?
Yes.
Can you see yourself in the house right now?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see where she is? Where is she?
In the kitchen.
Okay. How old is she? Is she 12? Or is she younger?
A bit younger.
Mm-hmm. How old is she, you think?
I think 9.
Okay. So you haven't been there that long then, huh?
No.
Okay. So in your grown-up body, I'd like for you to come down in the front yard of the house.
Okay.
And are you on the pavement or are you on the grass?
Sidewalk.
Okay, you're on the sidewalk. Can you see your feet?
Yes.
All right. And you can feel the sidewalk underneath your feet?
Yes.
All right. And you're in your grown-up body?
Yes.
Perfect. So can you kind of describe the front of the house to me right now?
Yeah, it's brick. It has the weeping, kind of that weeping coming out of it. It's yellowy blue trim, kind of early, in a way, early American. It's got a peak to it, and there's an eagle on the, a black eagle, iron eagle that's up on the side of the house.
So what does it feel like to be there?
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I feel a pressure in your solar plex, huh? What words are on that?
Yeah. Yeah, just heavy.
Mm-hmm. What's heavy?
I feel heavy.
Yeah, but what emotion is that there in your solar plex? What words are there?
Sad.
Okay. All right. So can we walk up to the front door?
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Okay. Can you feel the doorknob in your hand?
Yes.
Is it round or is it long or is it?
This is like a screen door, like a storm door, kind of the long handle like that.
Perfect.
Button in.
And then is there another door?
Yes.
All right. So let's open the screen door.
Okay.
Is the other door wood or is it metal?
Wood.
Perfect. All right. So let's swing open the door. And I just want you to step inside.
Okay.
What are you feeling right now?
It still feels heavy. Yeah.
Okay. So can you find the little girl in the house? Where is she?
There's swinging doors that go into the kitchen. She's on the other side of those.
Okay. So if we just kind of crack one of those swinging doors, can you peek in there? What's happening?
My mom's cooking. And I'm like standing alongside of the table.
There's a lot going on in your belly right now. So is mom in a good mood or is she?
Busy and stressed.
Okay. And what's the little girl feeling right now?
I want to jump in and help and I'm not allowed.
Okay. What would happen if she did?
I'd be told to leave.
Okay. And so she's just standing there deciding? What is she doing?
Watching.
Okay. And what is she feeling right now?
Well, I'm supposed to go watch my brothers and sister, and I don't really want to. I'd rather watch cooking.
All right. And so is the conflict I'm feeling in the belly, is that around that? Like she wants to help? She doesn't want the responsibility of taking care of the kids?
It's more I want to learn, I think. And I guess help. Maybe maybe to be noticed right there helping instead of go do this or go do that.
It feels like a connection you were wanting with her, right?
Yeah, probably.
Right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're standing there watching, would you like to say anything to Mom?
Can I stay and help?
All right. So can she walk up to Mom and just say, Mom, I'd love to stay and help you.
Okay.
And what does Mom do?
She turns around and goes from the stove to the sink. She
Okay.
didn't.
All right. So it's almost like she was invisible, right? She
Mm-hmm.
didn't respond.
Yeah.
So I want you to go over to the little girl and I want you to sit down in front of her and look her right in the eyes and say, I see you. I see.
Yeah. I see you.
Hmm.
I see you.
Yeah. Will she look you in the eye?
Not sure if she should.
Tell her you understand. Ask her if she'd like to go for a walk with you.
Okay.
Is there a place in nature that she likes to go?
There's fields behind the house.
Okay. Take her wherever she's going to feel comfortable and safe.
Okay.
She needs to know that Mom loves her.
Mm-hmm.
And she needs to know that she's important. And for more than just taking care of the kids. What else does she need right now?
A hug.
Yeah, hold her. She needs to know that you love her. How's she doing?
Crying.
Yeah. And what is in her tears? What words are with her tears?
She just wants this every day.
Yeah, tell her she can have it every day because you want it every day too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tell her you've missed her terribly. And you're so sorry that you forgot her there. You're really sorry. And I'd like for you to take your left hand and put it on her heart. And her left hand on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like for you to feel the heart sink. Yeah?
Yeah.
How's she feeling now?
She just stood up. Like stood up and put her hands on her hips.
Mm-hmm. And what'd she got to say?
Mainly that she's here.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, say thank you. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Ask her if she'd like to come home and live with you.
She like tipped her head sideways like, huh?
Tell her it's possible. You'd love for her to come home and live with you. Tell her you need her.
She's not sure if she should leave there.
Tell her time's just going to go on. She just doesn't have to be frozen in that kitchen anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, and then time can go on. And she'll get to be seen. She'll get to be seen. No more being invisible. How does she feel about that?
I mean, like happy, but really not sure.
And what part is she not sure about?
Like,
whether she wants
like-
to or whether it's possible.
like really?
Yeah, tell her really.
Yeah.
Right? Tell her about what life's like for you now. Looks like you have some beautiful property.
Oh yeah.
And it looks like there's water. Wouldn't it be nice for her to come? Stay with it. Stay with it. Don't lose her. She ready?
Yeah, she said if she gets to go in the paddle boat.
Okay. Tell her you're going to take her in the paddle boat tomorrow. For sure.
Okay.
For sure. So we're going to do lots of fun things. For
Yeah.
sure. All right. So tell her right now we're going to play a really cool game. Right?
Okay.
I want you guys to hold hands and I want you to start spinning. And we're going to create this vortex right now.
Okay.
Right?
We need to get off the dirt mound first.
Yeah, get off the dirt mound. Or you can do it right on top of the dirt mound. It might be super cool.
Okay.
So I want you to just hold hands and start spinning. We're going to spin faster, faster, faster. You're spinning so fast you can't see anything. Spinning faster and faster. Can't see her anymore. It's just energy spinning faster, faster. As the energy begins to slow and your feet come back down to the earth, the grown-up you is the only one left. Let me know when that's real and true for you. Stay there though.
I'm there.
Awesome. Awesome. So if you peek back at the house, at the kitchen, is the little girl gone?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to bring you back to this time and space.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to drop down through the atmosphere, through the clouds, to the top of your head, into your corpus callosum. Draw those energy behind your eyes back. And fill up your chest, your arms, your fingers, your belly, thighs, your calves, all the way to the bottoms of your feet. I want your feet to feel tingly. Get all the way down there. All right?
Yep.
Welcome. What feels different?
I feel really solid and really calm.
Good. Good. Now, if you go back to that original thought, how do you feel in relation to that?
Feels solid this time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Well, I'd like to see what unfolds for you.
I appreciate it.
Wow. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thanks,
Thank
Gina. You'll have to keep us posted. But this
Yeah.
much faster than you're reading a book and trying to do it yourself.
Yeah, it just, it, yeah, it
That's
feels,
what's happening for you is your loops are showing up, right? And there's no resolution.
mhm.
That's what a flashback is, right? So you're having, it's causing you to have flashbacks, but you know, the action for resolving the flashback isn't there, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was finding it interesting that all of a sudden they were. So it's like, okay, this is really getting to a point of wanting to go.
It wants to go.
Yeah.
When it's that at that space, it's really fast. Once
Yeah.
you understand the process and understand what you're doing, you know, you can just walk through your timeline, clear up these cycles, because those cycles, like, you know, those loops create cycles of behavior, cycles of, you know, throughout time. So
And it was kind of funny because I forgot about sitting on top of the dirt mounds. They were building all these houses, and that's where I would go. But then that makes me think of, oh, I love going on the top of the mountains. And I didn't even associate going to the top of the dirt mountains as being like on the top of the mountain.
well, but there's a lot of this space too. You're recovering memory, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
recovering memory.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know Jacqueline was wanting to ask a question for you.
I am, I'm trying to unmute you, but I think you did something. There you go.
Yeah, I would just like to say that our friend here in Boulder, Colorado, who is one of the instructors in the past for the International Academy of Consciousness, which does out-of-body experience work similar to the Monroe Institute in Virginia. This is all so wonderful what Cherie is doing, and it intersects all of this because this is going back to inner child work. It's going back to the idea of bilocality, like what she was talking about, meditating and then being able to do something else at the same time. It's going into remote viewing. These are wonderful gifts, and they are so clearing and cleansing the way Cherie is bringing this about. I mean, and it's very explanatory the way she's doing it. I just think this is great, and I think that this is very helpful.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm grateful that you did. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sheila Blake is the next one up to bat. I'm going to unmute you if I can. You must have muted. Oh, there we go.
Hey, honey, I'm gonna like figure out how to like have her full tilt. Like, I think I need to not have distractions.
There we go.
How can I?
What do you mean?
There we go. I wanted to look at her.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
Hey there.
How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you, hear your voice. We had a wonderful session a year or so ago. It was great.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah.
What are you bumping up against?
Well, the things I keep repeating to in distress lately to people. I'm getting through this COVID thing pretty well. I haven't been touched personally, thankfully. And I'm one of those people who got what they asked for years. I've been saying, I'm way too busy, too busy, too busy. I need time to slow down. So now I got the time. And so I'm just distracting myself with new stuff and still procrastinating around my hoarding tendencies, which was kind of sad to hear you say your thing doesn't work so well with.
I mean, this woman though, like literally was dealing religious issues and like hoarding to the point where like her kids had to go live other places.
Oh, no. I
So
said,
there was a point,
I'm
like,
a pack rat, let me put it that way.
yeah, she couldn't live in her house anymore.
Oh, no.
And she didn't reveal that until like 6 or 7 weeks in.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like a focus, anyway.
So I'm avoiding cleaning up after the construction, after 3 floods and 3 robberies and PTSD. I don't know why I'm avoiding things. Been through a lot in the last couple of years, and I keep saying I want to get my brain back and I want to get my energy back, because I literally can't get out of bed some days for hours. I'm awake, but I just can't make myself go.
That exercise, like seriously, like
Yeah,
free to everyone today. This first module of this exercise, right? And my thoughts behind it. So you know, there's like questions to ask yourself, like it's a whole module. So hop in there and grab that, because that is a go-to for you. If it's like, if you're like at noon and are feeling all like this, you're not in your body.
that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, for reals. And so this procrastination, it's definitely looping back, and it feels like put some words around that for me, because procrastination is a grown-up word. Like, put some real words around that.
It's hard to get started. I don't want to do it. It's too much to deal with.
It's almost that lukewarm space, right?
Lukewarm?
Right? Make a choice.
Yeah, my choice is find something else more interesting to do.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. So what kind of things are you finding more interesting to do?
Watching YouTube videos about near-death experiences. That's the latest one.
Interesting. Okay. And, did you have one?
Not that I'm aware of.
So do you feel that you that your subconscious is trying to figure out where you're going?
Well, I started meditating. Finally, I've been meditating now for every day, a couple times a day. And so I think that kind of more generated the horse, the spiritual side becoming much more focused in front of me.
So this avoidance of becoming, that's what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So an avoidance of becoming, close your eyes for me. How old do you feel?
Terror. I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry.
Let the tears out. It's okay. How old do you feel right now?
10-ish.
Yeah. And where is she?
I'm going to say at a park near the lake.
Okay.
I grew up near the Great Lakes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So can you see her at the park? Okay. So is there a way you can come in there and like not be in clear view right now? Like, can you come in behind a tree or something around there? In your grown-up body. All right, your feet on the ground. Make sure your feet are on the ground, right? And you're a grown-up. Can you reach out and touch the tree?
Yes.
Okay, and you can feel the bark in your hands?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you peek around the tree, what's happening? Just observing right now.
It's a pretty awful experience. It's hard for me to. I was huffing glue with a bunch of boys.
Okay. Okay. All right. Stay with her. Stay with her. Why is she doing that?
Because she felt unpopular and wanted to be popular, wanted to hang out.
Okay. And were there other girls there?
No.
So can we go over and get her right now?
Yeah.
Let's go get her. Just put your arm around her and just walk her away. Walk her away. So had she done drugs before?
No, this was new, and my mom showed up and dragged me out of there. It was pretty traumatic.
Okay, so let's get her out first.
Do what?
How'd Mom find out?
She was looking for me. She found me.
Okay, all right. Did Mom hit her?
No, not physically, just very shaming.
Okay. Do you want to wait and deal with when Mom comes? I think we ought to. I want you to keep this little girl too, though, but it feels like there's almost 2 bubbles. So keep her in your hand, and then I want us to fast forward to the moment when Mom comes. And while we're waiting, I want you to tell this little girl that she is amazing. She doesn't have to do anything like that to get anyone's attention. Like, she is amazing just the way she is. Right? And stuff like that is what's going to get in the way of her becoming. She needs to just be her. Can you tell her that? And hold her? All right. All right. So I see Mom coming. Does she notice that Mom's coming?
No.
Okay. So Mom just walks up out of the blue, and what does she do?
Yanks her up and drags her away physically, dragging.
And how is she feeling, the little girl? Because she's high. So how's she feeling about that?
Startled and ashamed.
And are her thoughts distorted right now because of being high?
Possibly. It was a strange sensation, but yet almost more aware.
Okay. All right. So if her awareness is going out, what is she picking up off of Mom?
Just a lot of shame.
Well, that's her feeling, though. What's Mom feeling?
I think Mom was really probably frightened for me.
So really dig into Mom, though, right now, and not a probably, right? Like, let's just feel her because she's right there.
She's angry.
Yeah. And is she afraid too? Is she angry because she's afraid?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's we're gonna just freeze that moment, and I want you to get that little girl too. And I want you to take both of them over someplace where they where you guys can be unseen. All right. All right. So can you guys just sit in a circle?
Me, my little self, me now, and just
And the
the
two
two of
little
us?
girls. Yeah, just the 2 of you.
Okay.
It's just a circle of yous. All right. How the little girl's feeling right now?
Safe.
Good. What else?
A little bit scared.
What are they afraid of?
Mom?
Pardon me?
My mom.
Now
Just
tell them that they don't have to deal with Mom right now.
okay.
So if she's not afraid of Mom and getting in trouble, what is she feeling right now?
Confused.
Okay. And what's the confusion around?
It's nothing's making sense. Why I'm there, what I'm doing, nothing's making sense. Just all kinds of preteen angst.
Okay. So let's tell her that you're here right now to help her understand and to bring her home. Tell them both they don't have to stay there anymore. right? And you're really sorry you forgot them there in that most horrible moment, right? And you are really sorry. So I'd like for you to go hand to heart around your circle.
Hand to heart?
Yeah. Around the circle.
Okay.
And their hands all, all around. And I want you to feel the 3 of your heartbeats.
I'm sorry?
I want you to feel the 3 of your heartbeats sink into one.
Mm.
And let's be aware. Oh, that's good. That's a good sync. Sorry, it even sidetracked me. It's good. So, how are they feeling right now?
Safe and wondrous.
Perfect. So let's ask them if they'd like to come home with you, because you really need some action. You need some action, and you need them to help you. Right? I mean, you don't want to be alone anymore either. How does that feel? They're good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going to get up and we're going to play this amazing game. And I want all 3 of you to hold hands. Stay with them. Stay with them. I want all 3 of you to hold hands. And I want you to start spinning. Right? And we're going to spin faster. And laughter coming into this circle is amazing, right? Spinning faster, faster, faster. We're spinning so fast we can't see anything anymore. Just spinning. And as the energy begins to slow and your feet come back down to the earth, current version of you is the only one left. Let me know when that's real and true. So we're going to bring you back to this current time. So we're going to drop down through the atmosphere, through the clouds, through the roof, through the top of your head into your corpus callosum. Draw the energy behind your eyes back. Now we're going to fill up your chest, your arms, your fingers, your belly, thighs, calves, all the way to the bottoms of your feet. Welcome home. What feels different?
Wow, the shame's gone. The embarrassment's gone.
Perfect.
Which is, wow, I had completely buried that story. It was gone, and now it's resurrected and gone in a different way. I feel hopeful. Feeling some hopeful about getting up and having help getting things sorted out.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You did that.
That
So
was so fast.
she just dismantled a time loop, right?
Yeah.
And just integrated molecules. So you just did that.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Thank you. I feel it.
Awesome.
And I saw that tornado somebody was talking about a little bit ago.
Yeah.
When we were spinning, it's just like, whoa.
Isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you hear shamans talk about soul retrieval, and this is a version of that. Basically, you're bringing back your pieces that you really need now.
Really need them.
Yeah.
We need cycles to stop.
Yeah.
right? The universe, like, you know, those time loops are karma too, right? Like, you know, those cycles that follow us around through time, right? So even as we're doing this through this current timeline, often we're like tracking cycles back through different lifetimes, right? You know?
Thank you, Sheila.
I just want to add one thing. When you said this feels like not becoming, or it was about holding back from becoming, what I didn't tell you when I was leading into it was the thing that I hide. I get to the precipice of being expressive and then I shut down and hide over and over again. That was the other thing I was going to bring up that I didn't bring up that you completely hit on.
Yeah, because I think like the crux of it all.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, Cherie.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Cherie. So Trina texted me she wanted to share something real quick, okay? So
Okay.
I'm gonna mute Sheila and unmute. There we go. There we go, Trina.
Well, first thing, I turned my video off because my husband Larry's been listening and he was upstairs and he came downstairs to give me a big hug. So that was really nice. But then when I looked at my phone, my mom actually texted me and said, "Do you want to come and visit for a little bit? We can just sit outside on the porch." And she doesn't ever do that, ever. So I text Kathy. I'm like, I'm feeling a little emotional right now.
But it's cool when you see those loops dissolve, how our physical life just changes very quickly.
Isn't that amazing? That's
Well,
I've seen homeless people get homes, jobless people get jobs.
yeah.
Trina, this is Nancy. Could you tell me what that book is? What book are you reading?
Code to Joy.
Say it again.
Code to Joy.
I can share it, Nancy. I didn't realize what you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a fun one, but boy, did stuff start coming up. And Kathy's like, you need to do this quick. So I said, okay.
Yeah, well, because trying to do it for yourself when you don't have, it's hard to use your superpowers on yourself like that, whereas Cherie's got it all figured out. I mean, why wouldn't you? Now that you know about her, why wouldn't you do it this way, right?
Yeah.
And because honestly, more and more your soul can embody in this physical space now, if we can free up these loops.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, thank you again. And I just really appreciate you and for you taking the time. That was really awesome. And I had to share because it was so immediate.
Oh,
it was.
I'm grateful that you did. Absolutely.
That's cool. Validation. Thank you, Trina. Get home with your mom.
Yeah. I just have to find her now. I think they went for a ride. I don't know.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye. So Rosemary had her hand up next. So can you see Rosemary? She's in blue.
Right here.
Can you see her, Cherie? Say something, Rosemary, okay?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I
Hello? Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to find you so that I can pin you. Oh, there you are. Okay. There you are. There you are. Now I can see you. But I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, that's strange. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. What do you bump into kids?
I would say I know I have abundance. There's abundance everywhere in my life, and I feel very grateful and rich in many ways, but financially, and when you just mentioned you've seen people get homes, it's my whole being just jump for joy, because that's really, I'm really lucky with getting house sitting gigs, and I do have bases here and there, but even in my dreams, I never have a home. I'm traveling. I'm always traveling. And I feel like I could be so much more grounded and or just that I could come into my power more if I could really ground in my own place. I don't know. That's just a belief, but and honestly, I feel pretty grounded. It's just that's the place that I bump the most.
Okay. So can you close your eyes for me?
Sure.
And you think of the word home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what comes up? What words are around home?
Terror.
Terror.
Just get me out of here.
Getting out of here.
Get me out of here.
Okay. All right. How old are you?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Okay. All right. So I would like for you and your grown-up body to go to that house, into the front yard of the house. Can you describe it to me?
Yeah, there's a little grassy place. There's maybe a couple steps, and then a sidewalk, and then maybe some more steps going up to the doorway. It's kind of a bluish gray.
Perfect. Can you put your feet on the grass?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And your grown-up feet today?
Okay.
Right? Because we're going to stay grown-up you.
Okay.
Right, so that you can help her. All right. So let's walk up to the front door.
Okay.
Is there a screen door or just a door?
I think there is a screen door.
Yeah, I was seeing one. Okay, let's open the screen door.
Okay.
Let's open the door. Is the doorknob round?
I think so.
Okay. Is it daytime or nighttime?
It's day.
Okay. All right, so we're going to open that door. And when you step just inside, we're just going to assess what's going on in the house.
Seems like a lot of chaos and yelling and people. There are 7 kids older than me, and at this point, just one, maybe actually 2, 3 kids younger than me.
Okay. So when you hone in on the little girl, where is she?
Just in the dark. I mean, like lost in the dark. I don't see her.
Okay. So let's walk through the house. She's hiding.
Okay.
So let's find her.
I don't really remember this house, but my mind.
Breath, because I can feel your stomach. All right.
I just saw my broom closet.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
getting
wait. I just remember. I have a memory of being locked in an building, like outside of the garage. I mean, I do have a memory of that and not being able to get out.
Is that where we are right now? If you look for her, because I'm getting her being in a closet.
Okay, I'll go to the closet. Sorry.
I'm not saying no. I mean, that may be what I'm seeing too. So it may be
okay.
In the closet, right? So let's just like breathe for a minute and say, where is she right now?
Yeah, in the house, in the closet.
Okay, and I feel like she chose to hide in there. Is that true?
I think so.
All right, so let's go find her.
Okay.
So you see what room she's in? Whose room is she in?
In a closet on the main floor off of the kitchen.
Okay. So does anyone know she's in there?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So is she hiding from something specific right now?
You know, it just occurred to me that it might be soothing there just because it's dark and quiet, but it might also be because I do also have a memory of being an infant and being pushed in the closet in my crib.
Okay.
So I never associated that would be a comforting place, and it's not the same closet, but
so you can understand that though.
Right.
Right? It was a safe space.
Yeah.
Right? So I'd like for you to open that closet door. I'd like for you to get that little girl.
Okay.
And she really needs to be held. And if she doesn't trust you, you know, just we gotta earn that maybe.
She's in my arms.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I see us jumping back through time to the baby.
Okay.
And was that to keep her quiet or was that to keep her safe?
It was to keep my mom from having to hear me. Yeah.
Okay, so did your mom put you in there or did somebody else?
My mom.
All right, so I want us to go get her out of there.
Okay.
And tell her that we love her voice. We love her voice, and her voice is very important. And the world needs to hear it. All right? And say, this is not your problem. You didn't cause any of this. You didn't cause any of this. Right? It's time to be visible now. It's time to be visible now. Right? So, and tell her that, you know, well, let's get them both out of the house first. Let's get them out of the house. And as you're walking out, I want you to make sure they know this is not home. This is not what home feels like. This is not what home feels like.
Okay.
Right? Tell her this is a concentration camp, not home. Right? So let's go out, let's go find some place in nature that feels comfortable. All right, let me know when you're there.
Okay, I'm there.
All right, so you tell these girls, you tell them, I want a home, and you guys deserve a home. And our home is going to be a place that's going to be like your favorite sweater. Right? You're going to get to play, right? And you don't have to be in the dark to be safe. Right? Look them both in the eye and say that you don't have to be in the dark to be safe.
You don't have to be in the dark to be safe.
Now, we want them both to understand, too, that Mom was, in that very first time, doing that because she knew she was going to hurt her.
Oh. Okay.
Right? So, in a weird way, she was trying to protect her from herself. Right? She needs to know that. Right? Not that it was right, but she needs to know that. And you tell them that you want to create a home for them. And in your body, right here, home is where we are. Home is where we are. How are they feeling right now?
Just a little disbelieving and excited.
Okay, so we love the excitement. It's okay, just breathe. So when we think about this disbelieving, what is going to shift that for them? Are they disbelieving that they're going to be safe?
No, I think it's more just like, really, I mean, can this really be true?
Can you look them in the eye and say, absolutely, this is true. I came back for you. And I'm so sorry I forgot you there.
Okay.
I'm so sorry I forgot you there. But you're not ever going to have to go back there again. Right? I want to bring you where I live. How do they feel about that?
That's better. Thank you.
Good, good. So what is their favorite thing to do? What do they like to do?
Play bicycle, hula hoop, run around the neighborhood, be away from the house.
Awesome. So you tell them that you need to remember how to play and you're hoping that they're going to teach you. All right. All right. So when they want to come home with you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to hold hands. And the little 3-year-old, you can hold her in your arms if you want.
Okay.
How old's the other one? She's older.
3 months or 6 months?
Yeah. So do you want to hold both of them?
Yes.
All right. So hold both of them in your arms. And I can see the vortex kind of starting over to your side. I just want you to step inside of it.
Okay. Is it to either side or?
It's off to your left.
Okay. Okay. I feel it. I see it.
All right. So I want you to stand in it and I want you to just start spinning with it. I'm going to spin faster and faster, faster. We're spinning so fast you can't see anything anymore. Ooh, there you go. And as the energy begins to slow and your feet come back down to the earth, the grown-up you is the only one left. Let me know when that's real and true for you.
It is.
Perfect. And if you look back at the house, the little girl's not in the closet anymore.
No.
Good. And she's not in the crib anymore.
No.
Perfect. Perfect. So we're going to bring you back to this time. We're going to drop down through the clouds, through the roof, through the top of your head, into your corpus callosum. Perfect. Draw that energy behind your eyes back. And we're going to fill up your chest, your arms, your fingers, your belly, your thighs, calves, all the way to the bottoms of your feet. Welcome home.
Oh, God, thank you so much. It's amazing. I am just tingling everywhere.
Perfect. Yeah, there were some big pieces there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh.
I urge you to just take a few notes around what feels different because our brain loves sameness.
Saying what?
Sameness. Our brain loves seeing what is the same over what's different.
Okay.
So take note, I feel tingly, or I feel heavy, or I feel light, or I feel joy, whatever,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I feel a lot of differences.
Yeah, perfect. I would jot them down so that they become real.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Cherie.
Awesome.
Good job, Rosemary.
Great job.
Yeah, you'll see this is profound change. It's fast, but it's profound. And we don't even know we're doing it. We don't.
You know, I've done a lot of work and been in a lot of therapy and done a lot of energy work and had amazing pieces, but you know, there was so much insight about the closet, and thank you so much about, you know, she was trying to keep me safe from her. It just blows my mind.
Oh.
So thank you so much.
It was sick.
Beautiful.
I remember doing that with my first one. You know, she had colic and she cried all the time. And I remember holding her, you know, after the terror I went through, right? I remember holding her and thinking, oh, if I shake her, she'll stop crying, maybe just for a minute. And I scared myself and I put her in the crib and I went outside and locked her in the house and, took a walk. I was like, she's safer being in the crib by herself right now than she is being with me, right? Because those are that default programming, right? Creates our instincts, right? And for me, love and hitting, one and the same. Not difference, right? The way those words are programmed, just everything, right?
Wow. Thank you so much. It's amazing.
Yeah. Good. Good. Well, thank you, Rosemary. Thank you. Okay, so
I have to.
What?
Another commitment around 5:10.
Oh no, this is perfect. No, we understand. Well, there were a couple more people, but we'll do them maybe the next time we get to do this. But I wanted to make sure that people saw the free gift that you offered. I put it in the chat, and can I share the screen and show them, and then you can tell them about it? I've got it up. I've got it up already. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Oops, that's your testimonials. Because Trina asked about adult things as much as, going back to your childhood. And I said, go look at the testimonials.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? And often if we have a hit that doesn't resolve in our adulthood, it's anchored someplace else too.
So do you want to explain a little bit about this free gift that you're giving everybody?
Yes, this is the first module of this course that I'm creating called We Didn't Come with a Guidebook, right? And it's energetic exercises for understanding the quantum actions we're taking unconsciously, right? So this first one is very much around that disassociation, the idea of disassociation and the idea of an out-of-body experience in astral travel. And it's got that exercise, that coming home piece in there. So you're going to have an audio, you're going to have what I call it is questions to ask yourself. You're going to have some worksheets to play with where you can really start creating those distinctions around what do I feel like right now and what do I feel like after I'm actually in my body. So you'll have the audio to have on your phone, because I know for myself that was just a constant go-to for me in the beginning, was like, am I here? Am I here? Am I here? And a lot of my clients do much better if they can listen to it and have me guide them in versus them trying to do it themselves. So anyway, this is a bonus sneak preview to the first module of this course, of this series of exercises that I found extraordinarily profound for me. They're kind of the foundation for everything I do. So this is the first one. So hop in, grab it up. You'll get access. You're going to actually get 2 emails. The second email is going to give you login credentials to get into the hub, where you'll get into the free resources section of the hub. There's other stuff to play with in there too. So.
Okay. So, and I did put it in the notes. If people didn't get it and you need to contact me afterwards, I'll make sure that you get the link to it. But it was very generous of Cherie to do that for us for 2 hours today and make us something that we can take away. Yeah, Roxanne, do you have a question, dear? I'm unmuting you, I think.
Oh, thanks. Yes, I just went to, that link was her testimonials. I don't see
the
link.
It was above. Let me do it again.
Oh, okay.
Way up at the very top. See it? Where am I?
At the very top, and then I put it in again because I didn't know I was going to get that question from Trina about, there we go. But you should look at her testimonials too. You'll be amazed.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, no, this is something that not only can she help you get whole and live a happier life, she can teach you how to do this to help others. I mean, this is big, you guys. There isn't anybody that doesn't have trauma from 0 to 7.
And I think especially us that are really trying to be healers, I know that I felt it a burden almost to work with people because I was taking everything on, right? Versus when being in wholeness. So, you know, that program I call Heal the Healers, we teach you while we're cleaning your timeline up all at the same time. So,
Cherie, I would love to thank you. That was really exciting to watch through the whole process. It made a lot more sense once you were in discovery with people. I had a little hard time at the first part, mostly because there is so much we've done, you know, and to try to find, well, where does this relate to where I already kind of access from. And I actually just came out of a clear beliefs coaching training certification, and several facets are in this work too. And one would be body wisdom, really getting aware of the body wisdom, and also rescuing the inner child were big components of the work, you know, to help free up aspects and parts of ourselves, obviously dialoguing and shadow and stuff. But what's unique about, I remember being in the full course with some profound people, and the work is good and all that, but my point of reference was, where's the energetic holding as we're going here? Because that is where my natural, you know, reference points are. Is this moving around? I wouldn't have called it that until I heard you use those words. But once I got into your reference points, it was so much easier to access this other coursework that I just, you know, integrated. Yeah. So I'm kind of parroting what the first gal said earlier about how many elements of what you were doing are speaking to this other rich body of work that's being done out there. And you demonstrated it in such a synthesized way. And it was very, that's what I love to do is with my clients, be very tender, direct inquiry, you know, and let the tears come or whatever, but mostly not to stay in it like talk therapy, but to move through it. Yeah.
But if you notice, hardly anybody even had real tears, right? Because it's not about that at all, right? It's about creating balance between the two stories, right? And the biggest piece truly is the molecular rescue, right? I don't even feel like we're truly like rescuing a child as much as we are we're gathering up those molecules,
right,
that were us, right? And actually creating wholeness, literally. Like, it's not an idea, right? I did so much, little bit, stop. I did tons of inner child work and, like, you know, soul retrieval, and I guess it is like, you know, that it all came into one package, right? To where it's like, how can we do this and have it be a duplicatable action that each person can have the same action and create their own resolution, because it's something you're already doing. You're already quantum jumping. Now, that's different than an average trauma. It is. Like, not everybody. It is the reason why some of us get over it and some of us don't. Right? There is a difference in that. And that is the time loops. Right? That is those quantum actions that person created to survive that, versus a person like I know people that went through the same level of trauma as I did and weren't entrenched in it for their lifetime. Right? They weren't being triggered constantly. They didn't have amnesia. They didn't have, right? And you guys, there's a few of you in here that have that deep level of trauma, and you know you have some deep amnesia around it. Right? Well, that amnesia is like black holes. A black hole in the universe sucks energy. Right? It's just constantly sucking energy. Right? So it is a very, very quantum action that, you know, mimics the spiritual gifts, that mimics mental illness, that mimics being autistic, that mimics a lot of different things, right? Because we're just flared open and just not understanding that's what we are.
Mm. Mm. Well, I am completely experiencing the truth of it, what you're describing. And the languaging is still, I sense that there's probably some introductory level that would be more supportive to run with it the way I'm experiencing it. Yeah.
And I did move away from using quote spiritual words.
Yes.
Because there's so many of us that were in that level of healing and it didn't work. Right? So I have been trying to create different words around it that could feel like action.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That could feel like action and not something that I was doing to you or for you, that you're doing yourself. Right? But then you're learning about your magic. You're learning about you. I'm not waving a wand at you. Right? Clearing that up. You've made it. You need to undo it. Right?
Yes. Well, it's interesting. The paradigm for me is not just spirituality. It's actually a transmedium level where you're moving in and out of different levels of consciousness through different levels of realms of experience and the field. You know, you put all those three together and that's what you're working with. But for some of us who were doing for a long time, I would say I wouldn't identify completely that it wasn't working. It was more like, what do I do with this? Now it's starting to come to me what you're saying, like the energy parts as molecules, because there is a residue of energy. You can move through the decision points, and you can feel where I can identify with my parts or a client's parts, what they've been through, and move them into another embodiment state. But there's still that residue. That's how I would speak to it.
Yeah, and that's the children I was seeing around people.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of times when I work with healers, like they've done a lot of work.
Yeah.
They've got all these people standing around them, but they're not in them. They're not them. They're not integrated into them. They're around them. So often, like if I've worked with somebody that's done a lot of personal work, right? Like we'll get in and it'll be like, all right, there's about 15 here. We need to gather them up, right? And we need to integrate them, right? And there is a huge difference. There's a huge release in that. And you're exactly right? Because that's what I had experienced. So when I said it didn't work, more what I mean is it didn't stick.
Okay.
Right? It didn't stick because it didn't stick. It was the same like taking a pill for a while. Right?
Well, it was so interesting. Just last night, kind of pre-sleep place, I think it was last night. Anyway, I was in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 memories, and it wasn't like I was looking for a particular pattern. In fact, they just started happening, and aspects, and it was a foreshadowing, I guess, of today. I wasn't aware about this until this afternoon, really, to jump on, but not this way. But as it turns out, all those were the aspects of me that are going, come and get me. There's like, why am I thinking about this? It's like, so I even stepped through it while you were leading somebody. I was
perfect. Perfect, because we are like, it is a time the universe wants them cleared up.
Yeah.
Right? We want this cleared up. Right? So that's amazing that they came up for you. Perfect.
So cool. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Well, every time I've been working with Cherie, this is only our second time we've done group, but I've teared up almost on everybody's. So these are human constructs, And if you're empathic, you feel everybody's everything anyway.
Oh, we've also, because we were so magical, we cast a lot of little word spells on ourselves too. So that shows up a lot in my work too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like I keep hitting this brick wall, right? Like a while ago, I was working with a couple and they were like, you know, talking about this lack of intimacy. And I'm like, you guys have glass walls up all around you. Like you can see each other, but you can't feel each other, right? So there became a process of taking these walls down, right? So that they could actually feel each other, right? But we do that all the time with our words, right? I right before CCC last time, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired. I need a break. And like literally fell and broke my arm and was out of commission for like 8 weeks. I got a break. Right? So we have to start realizing and having a clarity about how we're using our words, right?
Wow.
Anyway.
Well, you have 1 minute before your next meeting, so we probably have to sign off. Thank you so much, Cherie.
Thank you, guys.
This has been wonderful, and thank you all for being brave, and hopefully you'll keep us posted how this.
And anybody that didn't get to play that wants to, shoot me a text.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lovely to see everybody.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm grateful.
Bye-bye. Thank you.